Over the last few years, there's been a lot of conversation around doom scrolling, brain rot, and just how bad media has gotten. So today, I want to talk about it and break this down. Is this true? Are things worse today than they were in the past? Are we now not living in the good old days? Is there some kind of generational brain rot going on where kids these days just don't have the attention span like they used to? They're consuming nothing but nonsense memes, silly 6-7 jokes that don't make sense, Ohio, all that junk. And are we being bombarded with AI slop, especially the younger generations? I'm going to talk about all this today because I think a lot of this is true, but it's kind of always been true. And we're going to see why that is. You see, a lot of people will start here, and I've seen a lot of these memes and videos and reels circulating talking about the generational slang. The things kids are saying these days is just a repackaged version of something from the past. So if you look at something as simple as the word impressive, maybe a boomer would have said groovy or far out, where a millennial, that's the category I fall into, would have said cool or dope or sick or sweet. While maybe nowadays Gen Alpha says things like fire, bussin', or hard. There's plenty of these words. It runs the entire spectrum. Every single word, every single slang from the past to the present to the future. It's just different ways to say the same thing. And there's lots of videos out there already discussing this. That's not what we're talking about today. We're going to take it a step further and kind of break down the media component to these different generations, because I think a lot of people, I remember growing up and even to this day, this idea that books are better than movies, which nowadays are superior to reels and social media. And I think this is a far too simplistic way to look at media, as if books are the end-all be-all, the best medium of all time, when in reality there's plenty of generational mediums like sculpting and painting and printing and radio and film. And yes, nowadays we have social media, but it is just another category, another medium. And if you were to argue that sculpting is superior to painting or painting is better than radio, like, it doesn't even make sense, because I would ask those questions. Is a sculpture better than a painting? It doesn't even really make sense. And you might have a personal preference. Maybe you appreciate one sculpture over one painting, but there are certainly plenty of paintings that are better than some sculptures, and it's really not even fair to compare them. It's almost apples to oranges. Just like asking the question, is a painting better than a photograph? You might appreciate the skill that goes into painting an artist, especially the Renaissance painters that we hold up in such high regard, but there are plenty of paintings that are far worse than some of the best photographs of all time. And we really appreciate photography as an art form, even though when it was first coming around, it might have been considered the cheat code of its time. And nowadays, it doesn't really even make sense to ask, is a photograph better than a comic? You can't even answer that because it just doesn't make sense. Again, comparing apples to oranges. Now, I would ask the question, is radio better than a podcast? And we start to see clearly that this is just a repackaged format of something that already existed. A lot of people will talk about Joe Rogan and podcasters and the cutting edge new wave of social media, and all they're doing was already done many decades ago via radio. Yes, the terminology changes, the way these shows are produced, all that changes over time. But essentially, at the end of the day, when you break the format down into its bare bones, a podcast is the same thing as radio, and it might sound a little different. They might talk about different subjects, but it's more or less all the same thing. So you can't even really compare them because they're nearly identical for the most part. But let's go back to literature, because I think that gets held in the highest regard, as if books are the pinnacle of sophistication. I remember growing up and everyone would tell you, well, just go read a book, look it up in a book. Books are the end all be all of best of the best. And somehow reading is superior to watching or playing or listening. Reading is the end all be all in books because that's where the smart people go. But literature, what kind of reading are we even talking about? Are we talking about comic books? Certainly, I don't think anyone holds those in as high a regard as they hold, Dickens or any of the classics. How about graphic novels? Is that reading? Probably not quite in most people's estimation. How about newspapers or magazines or tabloids? That's all reading, but I don't think anyone would really think it's all that sophisticated. What about the modern day with blogs and tweets and forums? All of that is text-based, and you're reading all of it, but no one really seems to hold it in that high of regard as they compare it to the thick printed pages of the past. And this goes with viewing habits as well. This assumption or this default philosophy that movies are better than television, which is always better than content. I think that is far too simplistic a way to look at how people watch and how people consume. Because when you look at something like social media, the content category, the terrible plague that it is on our society, people talk about doom scrolling and how bad it is, and everyone has this 3-second attention span, and they're just swiping through shorts, swiping through reels, swiping through TikTok, mindlessly consuming content, the big, scary boogeyman of the present. But that got me thinking, I'm old enough now that I remember cable TV. I remember just an infinite number of channels, thousands of channels, and you could easily call that doom surfing because that's what people did. They would just be clicking through channels every 3 seconds or so, just switch, oh, that's ads, switch, oh, what is that, Pawn Stars, switch, oh, what are we watching, Mythbusters, switch, oh, Entertainment Tonight, so switch, clicking through channels endlessly. And I'm old enough to remember people saying all the time, TV rots your brain. It was brain rot before brain rot was even a term.
Well, particularly if you have a remote control, see, when that happens, you go to a different channel. And if you don't like that channel, you go to a different channel. And one of the reasons I can't own a TV is I've started having this thing where I've become convinced there's something really good on another channel and that I'm missing it. And so instead of watching, I'm scanning anxiously back and forth for this thing that I think I want that I don't even know what it is.
But let's go even further back than cable TV. Think about a newspaper, okay? Doom skimming is what I would call it. Scanning through the headlines, because a newspaper isn't one article per page, it's multiple articles on every single page, and maybe one article gets more prominently featured, but there's a variety, there's an abundance, there's ads, there's text, you can swipe through the different columns, you can continue on page 17, skipping through those pages, just scanning those headlines. And this is something people did hours every morning at a period of time when there wasn't television or an abundance of it, when there wasn't social media to scroll through. People were still doom scrolling. They were just maybe doom skimming through the newspaper. That need for new information, the hunger, the appetite to reinvigorate the brain with something new, something fresh. The moment you're bored with one article in a newspaper, you just pop to another one. And let's not forget, these articles full of text that you can read, stories, news, ads constantly everywhere, and also games, crosswords, puzzles, mind benders. So just because your phone does all of this on social media with content and games and seeking your attention, this has always been the case for all the different forms of media and entertainment. Now, I do think it is wise when it comes to screen time to limit it. Everything is good in moderation when it comes to what you eat, when it comes to what you watch, how you spend your day. Everything should be done in moderation, but it isn't inherently bad because yes, you can find junk everywhere. There's junk paintings, there's junk sculptures, there's museums full of junk. There's junk radio, junk TV, junk movies. The screen itself is not the bad thing. It is the nature of the content, and there is good content that is worth consuming, and there's junk content that I would avoid. All of it in moderation. Because I remember growing up, people would constantly talk about the kids these days. And I always kind of laughed it off because it's such an old person thing to say, because old people don't get it. When you're a kid, everything is new, and so the newest thing is just another new thing in your life. You don't have any historical nostalgia for the past or the way things used to be. Everything is new, so if it's actually new or if it's ancient, it's still new to you and you can appreciate all of it. And I remember thinking as a kid, that won't be me when I grow up. When I get old, I'm not going to look at the new stuff and scoff and dismiss it and say how things were better in the past. And I've held myself to that. I don't ever want to become that person that looks at the new thing as if it just is inherently bad, because that's what I saw all the old people doing when I was growing up. And guess what? That's what they saw too. When they were kids, their parents, their grandparents dismissed all of the new stuff as well. You go back to the days of rock and roll and Elvis and how, scary Elvis was, and the music is just so terrible. And now we kind of laugh at that concept because it's so silly, it's so foolish. And yet, in this day and age, there are still now people who grew up, millennials who are now aging into middle age, adulthood, growing up, looking at the music and content of today's youth, laughing it off, brushing it off, saying how bad, how terrible it is, this is garbage, this is junk. And yet they were equally as guilty of consuming the same thing when they were a kid in the 90s. It just came in a slightly different form. We see a generational shift happening right now. The social media era is ending. And I don't know if people really realize that or not, but AI is killing it. You can generate with AI is overwhelming. It's staggering, and it pales in comparison. What a human can do compared to a computer when it comes to generating slop, the computer is going to win every single time. And AI is doing that to social media right now. You might not realize it. A lot of people aren't talking about it, but social media, as we once knew it, is pretty much over. But good mediums tend to last. When you look at the landscape of content, entertainment, media today, we still have plays and musicals, and we still have sculptures. There's people out there right now making sculptures and paintings and writing books. And radio still exists, just like the podcast still exists. Vinyl still exists. If you look in the right places, you'll see people happily buying up VHS tapes. They still exist and they are consumed. Movies, television, social media. It all tends to last, even though it might not be the dominant media of the time. That is shifting now, and we are headed towards a future where AI will shape what that looks like, what it sounds like, how people are interacting with one another and with the computers themselves. But none of it goes away. If it's good, it lasts. And I think that's what's interesting, is all of these forms at one time or another were painted as the new, big, bad, awful thing that was ruining society, that was corrupting the minds of children. And I think all those people who said that at that given time, whatever the generation, were probably right to some degree, but also missed the mark in seeing the bigger picture. That whole comprehensive look at the good and the bad, what that can do. Social media has connected people in ways we would have never dreamed of 30 years ago. Maybe some writers wrote it down in some kind of futuristic utopia or dystopia. But for the most part, our real life has been radically changed by the internet, by social media, just like the photograph changed the world of imagery. When all you had was paintings that took hours, the moment you could snap a photograph, and even the first photos took a while to capture and then develop. Now you can snap a photo instantly on your smartphone, and even that has become the moving picture, and how much that has changed and shaped society and what we look at as real or truth or news, and now how all that's being reshaped and shifted because of AI. Things are always changing, and the new stuff isn't inherently bad, and it's not inherently good. It all comes in moderation, and you have to decide how you want to use it, how you want to consume it. But I think to dismiss anything new as bad is a mistake, because you may end up missing something very, very important. I'm going to make a lot more videos talking about these sorts of things, but this is just kind of scratching the surface, because I don't even know what I think ultimately of how these things are going to play out. I just know that when new things come, the old folks tend to dismiss them and write them off and say that they're bad. And I don't ever want to be that person, and I don't think you should be either.